Today I'm doing section 3.3 day 1 and we're going to be talking about different properties with logs. So the first property is the product rule, and the product rule says if I have log base A, let's use M and N, so M and N are being times by each other, I can separate this, or what we call expand, as log base A of M plus log base A of N. So I can give them each their own log. Similarly, this works with quotient. So if I have log base A of the quotient M divided by N, I can split this up as log base A of M minus log base A of N. So notice the two values each get their own log and there's different symbols separating them. So we are what we call it in the condensed version, and your job is to expand these. So if I'm expanding them, notice you look for the multiplication, and that's going to indicate we're expanding on the product rule. So this will become log base 4 of 7 plus log base 4 of 5. And either one of these can be simplified further by hand, so we would just leave it. Letter B. Obviously the base is implied to be 10. I don't really need to write that down. So here I have a product of 10 times x. So this will become log 10 plus log x. So I can go further. So based on the video we just learned yesterday, we know that log 10 is a common property and that answer is always equal to 1 plus log x, and that would be your final answer. And let's say you forgot that property. You know the base is 10, so 10 raised to the first power gives you 10, and that's why that gets replaced with 1. Letter C. I have log base 7 of 19 over x, so now I'm switching to quotient, so I have log base 7 of 19 minus log base 7 of x. And again, either one of these can be simplified further, so that's done. Letter D, again, is quotient, so I have natural log of e to the third minus natural log of 7. And notice, it does matter which one goes first and which one goes second. The denominator is always your second one. So this left-hand one can go further, so this was, again, a property we discussed yesterday. Natural log of e, whenever you have the exponent, the answer is always going to represent the exponent. So this will become 3 minus natural log of 7. Alright, so now we're going to discuss a different rule, and this is called the power rule. So the power rule says if I have log base A of m raised to the n power, that's the condensed version. The expanded looks like this. So the exponent comes out front, and it's times log base A of m. So we're going to go through a series of examples using all three rules. So letter A is the power rule. So notice when you look at it, you have 7 raised to the power of 4, and that's why it's not product or quotient, it's power. And all I think I can do is move the 4 in front, and that's as much as I can do as far as expanding. Done. So letter B doesn't necessarily look like the power rule initially because you don't see an exponent, but we did learn that raising something, or the square root of something is raising something to the 1/2 power. So I could rewrite this as 1/2. So now you can see your exponent. Now power rule says the exponent goes out front, and that's as far as we can go for letter B. So now we're going to get into more properties. So here for letter C, I have a power and I have a product. So let's address the power first. So I'm going to move the 5 out front, and then I have log of 4x. So now I still have the product rule that I need to expand. So when I expand that, I now have log 4 plus log x. Okay, so either you leave the 5 and you leave them in parentheses, or you can distribute the 5 into both, and your answer would be 5 log 4 plus 5 log x. Either one of those would be acceptable for an answer. Letter D, I have a power and I have an exponent, but notice that the powers are located inside the parentheses, so it's not going to go to both of them like letter C did. So let's split this up with the product rule first. So I have log base b of x squared plus log base b of the square root of y. Now I can use the power rule, so the 2 comes out front and the 1/2 comes out front for this. And now I've completely expanded and there's nothing more I can do, so that's all we can do for letter D. Letter E is a triple whammy, so we have power, we have product, and we have quotient. Again, not too bad. So let's start with the fact that I have quotient and I have product. So I have log base 6 of the cube root of x minus log base 6 of 36. And then this will be split up with a plus sign of y to the 4th. There's a 6 there. Okay, so the reason you have to put this quantity in parentheses is both of these are underneath that division bar, so they both are technically in the denominator. So now we can go a little bit further. So I'm going to do a couple steps here. I'm going to handle the exponents, and I'm also going to distribute the negative m. So this is going to be a 1/3 power, so the 1/3 comes out front. Now I have minus log base 6 of 36, so 6 to the 2nd power gives me 36, so that will just become minus 2. And I'm going to distribute the negative in and move the exponent out front, so this will become minus 4 log base 6 of y. And that's as much as we can do, so that would be your final answer. You can't combine any of them because the arguments are all different. So that's all for today.